scene opens on a bright, sunny day in a lush, green forest. A small white rabbit with big, innocent eyes is happily hopping along, nibbling on a carrot. Once upon a time, in a forest so green it sparkled, lived a clever little rabbit named Benny. Benny's days were usually filled with sunshine, carrot crunching, and happy hops. But there was one shadow that often loomed over his otherwise perfect life, a big, perpetually hungry wolf named Walter. Walter the wolf peeks out from behind a large oak tree, his stomach rumbling loudly. He licks his lips, his eyes fixed on Benny. Now, Walter wasn't just any wolf. He was a wolf with a one-track mind, and that track led directly to a rabbit-shaped dinner. Today, like every other day, Walter had a plan. He thought it was a brilliant plan, a foolproof plan. This time I'll definitely catch him plan. He crouched low, wiggling his haunches, ready to pounce. He took a deep breath, picturing a delicious rabbit stew. Walter launches himself forward with a mighty roar, but Benny, hearing the tummy rumble, simply turns his head, a knowing smirk on his face. "Here we go again," Benny sighed, taking another bite of his carrot. As Walter charged, Benny calmly reached behind his back and, from absolutely nowhere, pulled out a gigantic, cartoonishly large anvil. With a casual flick of his wrist, he dropped it right in Walter's path. The anvil lands with a loud asterisk clang asterisk right in front of Walter, who skids to a halt, his fur standing on end. He looks at the anvil, then at Benny, completely baffled. Walter skidded to a stop, his eyes wide with confusion. An anvil? In the middle of the forest. Where did that even come from? He shook his head, clearing the cobwebs, and growled. "You won't be so lucky next time, Rabbit." He howled, and the chase was on. Benny zipped through the trees, his little white tail a blur of motion. Walter was hot on his heels, panting and snarling, convinced he was faster, stronger, and definitely smarter. He saw Benny heading for a solid rock wall, a dead end. Ugh! Trapped! Walter yelled triumphantly, but Benny just smiled. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a paintbrush and a small can of black paint, and in 2 swift strokes painted a perfect arched doorway onto the rock face. The door swung open, revealing a continuation of the forest path on the other side. Benny hopped through it without breaking stride. Walter, blinded by his hunger and determination, didn't even hesitate. He charged straight for the painted door. Asterisk, wham! Asterisk, he slammed face first into the solid rock wall, sliding down into a dazed, accordion-shaped heap with little birds tweeting around his head. Benny paused on the other side, shaking his head. "You'd think he'd learn," he muttered to himself before continuing his leisurely hop. After a few moments, Walter peeled himself off the rock, straightened his snout, and with a determined fire in his eyes, resumed the chase. He was not a wolf who gave up easily. The pursuit continued over rolling hills and across babbling brooks. Walter was getting closer, his paws thundering on the ground just inches behind Benny. "I've got you now," he panted. Benny, seeing a long, open meadow ahead, knew he had to switch up his tactics. As he ran, he pulled a giant, squeaky hammer from behind a conveniently placed bush. He spun around just as Walter was about to pounce. Asterisk bonk. Asterisk. The hammer connected squarely with Walter's head, making a comical squeaking sound. Walter's eyes crossed and he wobbled on his feet, looking utterly bewildered. Asterisk bonk. Bonk. Asterisk Benny delivered a few more playful taps for good measure, each one accompanied by a high-pitched squeak. Walter staggered backward, holding his head. "A squeaky hammer? Seriously?" he mumbled, his world spinning. He shook his head vigorously, trying to regain his focus. This rabbit was infuriating. He wasn't just fast. He was armed with the most bizarre and unpredictable arsenal in the entire forest. Undeterred, Walter devised another brilliant plan. He would climb a tall cliff and ambush Benny from above. He scrambled up the rocks, his claws finding purchase. Below, Benny was calmly setting up a small picnic blanket, complete with a checkered pattern and a basket of carrots. Perfect, Walter thought. He'll never see me coming. He took a running leap off the cliff, soaring through the air like a furry missile, aiming to land right on top of the unsuspecting rabbit. but Benny, of course, was one step ahead. He looked up, took a final bite of his carrot, and quickly drew a large X on the ground with a stick. Then he hopped 10 feet to the left. As Walter plummeted towards the giant spring-loaded boxing glove shot out of the ground, meeting him in midair with a powerful asterisk bowing. Asterisk, the glove sent Walter flying backward, soaring over the treetops until he landed with a distant splash in a far-off lake. Benny watched him go, a serene expression on his face. He unfolded a tiny beach chair, put on a pair of sunglasses, and leaned back to enjoy the afternoon sun. The forest was quiet once more, filled only with the sound of birds chirping and the gentle crunch of a rabbit enjoying his well-earned carrots. For Benny, it was just another day of outsmarting his furry nemesis. And for Walter, it was another day of learning the hard way that when you reach chasing a rabbit who can pull anvils out of thin air, maybe it's time to consider a salad instead. The moral of the story? Never underestimate a clever rabbit, especially one with a flair for the dramatic and an endless supply of cartoon props. Thanks so much for watching our little forest adventure. If you enjoyed Benny and Walter's antics, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more fun stories. We love having you here and can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye for now.